My mom's new boyfriend dreams of being called dad, so we turned his dream into his worst nightmare. Ezra asked me to call him dad, which might have been sweet if he wasn't 8 years younger than me and still got carded buying beer at the grocery store. He showed up 6 months after we buried my actual father, swooping into mom's life at her gym where he was telling her she was stronger than she knew while she was just trying to sweat out the grief. He moved in with his protein shakers and Xbox, rearranging our house like he'd been there all along, ready to step into a dead man's shoes and guide 3 adult children who were already adults when he was learning to drive. Mom deserved happiness after watching cancer steal dad piece by piece. But Ezra wasn't interested in healing anyone. He wanted a ready-made family to practice his manhood on, complete with grown kids he could mentor despite the fact that I have socks older than his career. He started small by rearranging dad's tools in the garage and replacing our family photos with pictures of just him and mom, then changed the Wi-Fi from Peterson Home to Ezra's domain while I bit my tongue. The nicknames came next with Hey Champ every time I visited, calling my 30-year-old brother Sport and trying Princess on my sister until she gave him a look that could freeze hell. The man collected vintage wrestling figures still in boxes, calling them investments, and worked assistant manager at Dick's Sporting Goods, but talked like he ran Nike. Then came the sticky notes on my car after Sunday dinners and a group text called Ezra's Team, where he'd send daily dad jokes at 6 a.m. He bought us matching fishing vests for Christmas, even though none of us fish. Tried implementing house rules when I visited mom, and kept pushing this weird father figure thing despite being younger than all of us. The worst part was learning he'd never dated anyone over 22 before mom, but I kept quiet because mom seemed happy-ish until the 4th of July barbecue when Ezra cornered me by the garage. We need to talk man to man, he said, sweating through his polo. I know I can't replace your father, he started, and I almost laughed because my father built houses with his bare hands, while Ezra couldn't build confidence with a YouTube tutorial. But I'm ready to step up to provide and protect. He actually said those words before dropping the bomb. I want you to call me dad. I stared at him, waiting for the punchline that never came. His eyes got watery as he squeezed my shoulder. It would mean everything to me, and I know you've been struggling since your dad passed, which is exactly why I'm here now to step up and fill that role. That night, I called my siblings and told them everything. My brother laughed so hard he choked on his beer, while my sister stayed quiet for a beat before saying, so give him exactly what he asked for. And that's exactly what we did. We started simple with everyday questions like, Dad, how do I do taxes? Even though I'd been filing my own for 15 years. Then we escalated to showing up at mom's house at 5 a.m. because I couldn't tie my tie for a big presentation. Within a week, all 3 of us were treating him like a 24/7 parenting hotline, with my brother calling during his shifts about girl problems, while my sister needed rides to places she could easily Uber to. The group texts became relentless with overlapping crises about car insurance and what's that weird sound my dishwasher's making? We'd take him to expensive steakhouses and order appetizers, desserts, and top-shelf drinks because dad always treats his kids, and watch him mentally calculate if his credit limit could handle it. I started showing up at Dick's during his lunch breaks asking for help with my resume. His coworkers watching a 35-year-old man call someone 8 years younger dad in public. By month 2, he was falling apart. The bags under his eyes looked like bruises, and he'd twitch whenever his phone buzzed. Mom found him one night in the bathroom with credit card statements, whispering about being a good provider while figuring out how many extra shifts he'd need. We'd compressed every exhausting aspect of parenthood into 8 weeks of concentrated hell. The breaking point came 3 months in at some Italian place where he'd taken mom for their anniversary. All 3 of us showed up unannounced, pulling up chairs and grabbing menus while mom tried to protest, and Ezra's eyes started twitching. What are you doing here? He asked through gritted teeth. We heard there wasn't going to be dinner at mom's tonight, my sister said sweetly, so we figured we'd meet you guys here. We ordered like we hadn't eaten in days. Appetizers, entrees, wine, and when the server came back to ask if we wanted soup or salad with our meals, something in him finally snapped. He stood up so fast his chair tipped over and shouted, they don't want soup or salad because they're not my kids and I'm not paying for any of this. The entire restaurant went silent. A toddler at the next booth started crying. He moved back with his parents that weekend and blocked all our numbers. Mom tried to salvage things for another month before he finally admitted he wasn't ready for that level of responsibility. Last I heard through mom, he's trying for a baby with some girl fresh out of high school and living at her parents' house. Mom's with Gary now. First thing he said when we met, please just call me Gary. We love Gary.